Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to be going over the top 5 most important trends that are shaping software testing right now. We will give you real-world insights and ideas that you can apply to your current software testing strategy to improve your overall speed, coverage, and confidence with every release. Stay tuned at the end for an awesome bonus, and let's get started. To introduce myself, my name is Grace Bickerstaff. I am a Senior Product Marketing Specialist at OpenText for Functional Testing Solutions, and I will pass it off to my colleague Madison to introduce herself.
Thanks, Grace. I'm Madison McCurry, and I'm a Senior Product Marketing Specialist for the Performance Engineering Solutions here at OpenText.
Awesome. Thank you. So today, there are many forces that are redefining quality in modern software delivery. Almost every enterprise we talk to is experimenting with GenAI, and about 80% of them are already using it to generate tests, spot defects, and keep scripts up to date. It's shifting QA from doing work manually to managing intelligent automation, and that's freeing up time for testers to focus on strategy, coverage, and just overall product quality, the thing that actually matters. Continuous testing has gone from a nice to have to more of a non-negotiable. The days of testing at the end of the sprint are over. In the last 2 years alone, adoption of continuous testing has jumped by more than 60%. Teams are embedding QA directly into their CI/CD, so every build, every deployment is validated in real time, helping catch issues before they actually reach production. Unified platforms are becoming the new backbone to QA. Nearly 3/4 of QA leaders say that they're consolidating their tools into a single connected platform. But it's not about cost. It's about visibility and control. When everything from functional to performance testing lives under one roof, teams can make faster, smarter decisions and deliver their apps with a little bit more confidence. So Madison, let's go right into the first trend.
So the first trend that we'll touch on today is all about how AI is transforming the testing lifecycle. Generative AI has been a huge disruptor, and testing is one of the areas seeing the biggest impact. It's transforming how teams handle test generation, maintenance, and their overall QA strategy. So instead of manually writing and rewriting test scripts, AI can now generate them automatically based on how users actually interact with the application. It can even self-heal test when the UI changes and analyze past runs to identify gaps or to suggest what to test next. That means you're spending less time on maintenance and more time improving coverage and reliability. But the real shift isn't just in automation, it's in the role of QA itself. GenAI is helping teams move from test execution to strategic oversight. Instead of focusing on manual test creation, testers can concentrate on analyzing results, identifying real risk areas, and guiding release decisions with data. And this isn't a theoretical idea, it's happening now. We're seeing teams use GenAI to generate functional tests from user data, automatically maintain performance scripts, and even predict potential failure points before they reach production and start to impact your users. Ultimately, GenAI isn't replacing QA, it's amplifying it. And it's helping teams to deliver higher quality and doing it faster and with far less manual effort involved.
For trend number 2, it's going to be all about codeless testing. Codeless test automation is no longer a niche solution. It's becoming more of a norm with higher velocity teams. With intuitive interfaces, reusable components, and a drag and drop logic, it's empowering more people to contribute to the overall quality of the software that they're delivering. So we're seeing developers, product managers, and business analysts designing and running tests without actually touching any code. This is not only speeding things up, but it also aligns with testing closer to business logic and customer expectations. Of course, codeless is not an end-all be-all, It needs to be a part of a governed framework, especially if you care about traceability and reusability. But when done right, it helps bridge gaps between QA and the rest of the team, evidently bringing teams closer together. In one case, a global retailer increased regression coverage by 3 times using codeless tools across QA and product. Less time scripting, more time validating what actually matters. And it's not about less control, it's about more participation.
Now, for trend number 3, we will highlight the importance of CI/CD. If testing still happens late in the pipeline, you're already behind. Release cycles now move in hours, not in weeks, and testing has to keep that pace. Leading teams are embedding functional and performance tests directly into their CI/CD pipelines. Every code change automatically triggers the right set of tests, giving instant feedback so issues can be fixed before they ever reach production. The real advantage comes from orchestration and traceability. It's about knowing which tests to run, when you need to run them, and understanding exactly where and why failures happen. That level of insight turns testing from a reactive checkpoint into a continuous, always on validation process. And when testing is orchestrated across every stage of delivery, quality stops being an afterthought and it becomes built into the software itself. Companies using this approach have cut production defects by more than 70%. And then when something does break, intelligent traceability maps failures back to the exact commit or configuration change. Teams can resolve issues quickly and keep delivering without ever slowing down. Continuous testing transforms QA from a bottleneck into a real-time feedback engine for your entire organization.
The fourth trend is going to be about replacing siloed tools with something more unified. Let me tell you about one of the biggest time sinks in testing that nobody really talks about: managing a completely fragmented toolchain. We've got one tool for writing tests, another one for running them, a third tool for looking at results. Then you need something else to tie it all together with your other systems, and honestly, it can end up being a complete mess. With every one of those tools, that's another integration that can break, another handoff where things fall through the cracks, another thing that your team have to learn and maintain. So, what are the forward thinking teams of today doing? They're consolidating. They're moving from unified platforms that bring everything, authoring, execution, analysis, collaboration, into one place. It's about real, tangible operational gains. When you consolidate, you get fewer integrations to babysit, fewer, wait, why did this break moments. And here's a big one: new people can actually get productive fast because they're learning one system instead of six. Onboarding that takes days instead of weeks, and they're spending dramatically less time chasing down flaky tests or brittle integrations. And it's not just QA teams that are benefiting from this. When developers can jump into the same platform and see what's happening, see what tests are being run, see the results, understand what failed, everyone moves faster. But here's where it gets really interesting: the long-term compounding effects. You're building governance into your process from day one. You've got real metrics that you can actually trust. You can reuse assets across teams instead of everybody building everything over and over again. Your ROI will increase from faster ramp up and lower maintenance costs, all because everything is in one place. You're creating something that is genuinely scalable and repeatable, something that you can measure, optimize, and build on. So when I say platformization is the operating system for modern quality, I mean it. This is how high performing teams are actually working today. And if you're still duct taping tools together, you're going to feel the gap get wider every quarter.
Now, the fifth and final trend that we'll talk about today is about risk and shifting left. Performance and security testing have traditionally happened after code is written, and sometimes even right before a release. But in today's world, that is just far too late. Now these practices are shifting left and moving into development environments, embedded directly into build pipelines, and even running automatically during feature branches or sandbox testing. The focus is no longer on finding issues, it's on preventing them before they ever reach production and start to affect your users. And there's a good reason for that. Modern hybrid systems are increasingly complex. APIs, message queues, legacy protocols, cloud native services, all of them introduce new performance and security variables. Catching those issues late in the cycle doesn't just delay your delivery, it drives up your cost, risk, and rework. One financial customer we work with saw a 60% reduction in those production performance incidents after embedding early stage load testing into their CI/CD pipeline. So compliance was no longer a headache, and the team had confidence that every release met their requirements. So when testing is built in and not bolted on, it stops being a checkpoint and it starts becoming a strategic advantage for you. And here it is, our bonus trend, which is all about compliance and how it is taking center stage as teams build it into their delivery from day one. And let's talk about why. Compliance can't be an afterthought anymore. Teams face increasing pressure from regulations, audits, and privacy requirements. And if you handle compliance manually at the end of your cycle, it will slow everything down. The trend now is continuous compliance, embedding those regulatory checks directly into your delivery pipeline. So every test, every deployment, and every decision is automatically tracked and it's auditable. Teams gain visibility into what happened, when it happened, and why without delaying their releases. And continuous compliance isn't just about avoiding those penalties. It gives teams confidence that their releases are secure, they're reliable, and they're fully traceable for them from the start. And with that, I will hand it back to you, Grace, to give us a quick summary on what we've learned today.
Thanks, Madison. Well, first up is GenAI. And I'm not talking about just the hype here. We're seeing it genuinely transforming how teams build and maintain their test suites. The boring, repetitive stuff. That's what's getting automated, which means your QA engineers can finally spend their time on what actually matters: strategy, analysis, the work that requires human judgment and creativity. Now, the second trend that's exciting is codeless automation. Here's why this matters. Testing doesn't have to be locked behind technical barriers anymore. When your product managers, your business analysts, or even your customer success teams, they can create and run tests, you've just multiplied your testing capacity instead of hiring another engineer. And yes, you can still maintain proper governance and standards. Third, and this is huge, we're finally seeing testing truly embedded into CI/CD pipelines. What does that get you? Real-time feedback. You're catching defects in minutes, not days, not weeks. And we all know the rule. The earlier you catch a bug, the cheaper it's going to be to fix it. And means faster releases, fewer 2 a.m. production incidents, and a lot less stress for everybody that's involved. Our fourth trend, unified testing platforms. Look, I know a lot of teams are juggling 5, 6, maybe more tools. It's messy. It gets expensive to maintain. Onboarding new team members become this whole ordeal. Moving to a unified platform changes that equation completely. Simpler integrations, less maintenance overhead, and just one system to master instead of many. And finally, shifting left with performance, security, and functional testing. Instead of discovering your application can't handle production during its launch week or finding out that your security is getting vulnerabilities after deployment, you're catching these issues while you're still in development. The cost savings alone make this a no-brainer. So here is the bottom line, and this is what I want you to take away from this today. QA isn't that bottleneck at the end of the development lifecycle. It shouldn't be, at least. The smartest teams are weaving in quality at every stage of the process, and how you ship faster without sacrificing any confidence. The technology is here, and the practices are proven. Now is absolutely the time to modernize your QA strategy if you have not already. Not next quarter, not next year, now. Your competitors are already doing it, and so should you.
Thanks, Grace, for that awesome summary. Now, if you're ready to modernize your approach, check out how OpenText helps teams lead in all 6 of these areas. You can scan the QR code that's on the screen or reach out to schedule a live demo with one of our team members. And from all of us at OpenText, we want to thank you for listening in today.